Welcome back to EchoMind Documentaries. If you are just seeing this channel for the first time, I'd suggest you subscribe to it. Don't forget to like, comment, and share as well. Also, turn on notification button for more. Let's talk about creatures for today's video. Nature is not cruel, it is simply indifferent. And that indifference is the most honest thing that has ever existed on this planet. There is a world that does not wait for your permission to begin. Before you opened your eyes this morning, before the first thought crossed your mind, life had already broken open somewhere on this earth. A membrane split. A creature drew its first breath through a thin film of fluid. Another creature exhaled its last. This is not poetry. This is the operating system of everything that has ever lived. Birth in nature is rarely a miracle. It is a gamble. A sea turtle lays over 100 eggs in the sand and crawls back into the ocean, never to return. She will not watch them hatch. She will not guide them to the water. Of those 100 eggs, perhaps 2 will survive long enough to become adults. The rest will be taken by birds, by crabs, by the crushing indifference of distance between the nest and the sea. And yet, the species continues, not because nature is kind, because it is relentless. In the African savanna, a wildebeest calf is born during migration. It has minutes, not hours, to stand, not because its mother is impatient, but because the predators are already watching. The first lesson this animal learns is that the world does not slow down for the newborn. You stand or you do not survive. There is no negotiation. We were taught, many of us, to see nature as a garden, a place of order and harmony, where everything exists in peaceful balance. But balance is not peace. Balance is tension held in place. It is the predator and the prey existing in the same ecosystem because neither has yet finished the other off. A wolf pack does not hunt for sport. It hunts because hunger is a biological sentence, and the only way to commute it is through another animal's death. This is not violence as we understand it. There is no malice, no cruelty in the human sense, only necessity wearing the face of brutality. The cheetah chases, the gazelle runs. One of them will be right today, the other will not see tomorrow, and the earth beneath their feet does not care which one wins. It only asks that the cycle continues. What nature teaches, if you are willing to listen, is that life is not entitled to itself. Every organism on this planet is engaged in the same fundamental project, to persist long enough to pass something of itself forward, a gene, an offspring, a spore carried on the wind. The form changes, the drive never does. A mayfly lives for a single day. In that one day, it must find a mate, reproduce, and die. It does not spend its hours in regret. It does not wonder what might have been. It simply fulfills the entire arc of its existence between dawn and dark, and in that compression, there is something almost unbearable to witness. A complete life, lived in full, in the span of your lunch break. Consider the parasite. There is a fungus, Ophiocordyceps, that infects ants. It does not kill them immediately. Instead, it takes control. It alters the ant's behavior, compels it to climb to a precise height on a plant stem at a precise time of day, and then it kills the ant there and erupts through its body to release spores onto the ants below. This is not a horror film. This is Tuesday in the rainforest. Nature does not draw a moral line between the beautiful and the grotesque. It only draws the line between what works and what disappears. And yet, within this brutality, there is something that looks almost like tenderness. Elephants mourn their dead. They return to the bones of their fallen, run their trunks along the ivory, stand in silence over what was once a mother, a brother, a calf. Scientists argue about what this means, whether they grieve in any way we would recognize. But there is something in the posture of an elephant standing still at a grave that reaches across the distance between species and lands somewhere in the chest. Wolves care for their injured. Dolphins carry their dead young for days. Crows remember the faces of humans who have wronged them and teach their offspring to avoid those faces. The line between instinct and something more complex blurs the longer you look at it. Perhaps that is the real brutality of nature, not the death, not the blood, but the fact that it contains within it the full spectrum of what we consider human, and it arrived at all of it without any help from us. We did not invent love. We inherited it from creatures that held their young before language existed. We did not invent grief. We inherited it from animals that stood over bodies before there were words for loss. We did not invent survival. We were born into a world that had been practicing it for 4 billion years before we arrived. Death in nature is not the end of the story. It is punctuation. When a whale dies and sinks to the ocean floor, it becomes what scientists call a whale fall. The carcass feeds entire ecosystems that exist nowhere else on Earth, communities of organisms that only exist because something massive died and drifted down to them. The whale's death is not a tragedy to the ocean. It is a gift. It is resource. It is continuation wearing a different face. A fallen tree in an old-growth forest becomes a nurse log. Ferns root in it. Fungi thread through it. Beetles open their nurseries inside it. Moss covers it like a slow green tide. The tree has been dead for decades and is more alive with purpose than it was when it stood. We struggle with death because we believe it is an interruption. Nature knows it is a mechanism. Every atom in your body has already been inside stars, has already been inside other creatures, has already lived and died in 1,000 configurations before it arrived in you. You are not a permanent structure. You are a temporary arrangement of ancient material. And when your arrangement ends, those atoms will move on into new arrangements, new lives, new forms that have not yet imagined themselves. From birth to death, nature does not ask whether it is fair. It does not distribute its brutality evenly or its beauty with any particular intention. It simply unfolds in every direction at every scale, simultaneously. A hummingbird hovering over a flower, a pack of wild dogs tearing apart a carcass, a mother bear nursing her cubs through a winter den, a parasite dissolving its host from the inside. All of it happening at once, all of it equally true. The question nature asks is not whether you are ready for this, it is whether you are paying attention. Because if you are, what you will find is not a world of cruelty. You will find a world of consequence, a world where everything that happens matters to something, where nothing is wasted, where even the most violent death becomes, within days or weeks, the foundation for more life than the living creature ever sustained. You will find a world that has been solving the problem of existence for longer than the human mind can meaningfully hold, and it has solved it, imperfectly, chaotically, at tremendous cost, through relentless repetition and relentless loss, exactly the way all real things are built. You were born into this world the same way everything else was born into it, uncertain, dependent, already in motion before you understood what motion was, and you will leave it the same way everything else leaves it, returning what was borrowed, making room for what comes next. In between, there is the living, the hunting and the feeding and the sheltering and the loss, the brief warmth of connection, the cold fact of endings, the relentless pressure of time moving in one direction only. This is not darkness. This is the truth that everything alive has always known and never once needed to write down. Nature does not grieve its own design. It simply, beautifully, devastatingly continues. And so do we.